Welcome back to SeoulScreen, the place where drama lovers gather to unpack the relationships, heartbreaks, betrayals, and emotional roller coasters that K-dramas love to throw at us. If you're new here, make yourself comfortable, because today we're diving into one of the most complicated and painfully tangled love stories currently airing in Moon River. And yes, when I say complicated, I mean the kind of complicated that makes you pause the drama, stare at the ceiling, and ask yourself why love in Sejuk's is never, ever simple. We're talking about Prince Lee-eun and Kim U Hui, two people who genuinely love each other, but are trapped in a family history that could ruin both of them. Their love story is not just star-crossed. It's politically dangerous, emotionally exhausting, and morally messy. And honestly, that's what makes it so captivating to watch. But it also makes it frustrating, because what do you even root for when love and loyalty are standing on opposite sides? So today, we're breaking down the 7 major complications that make their relationship almost impossible. And as we go through each one, I want you to think about what you would do if you were in their place. Could you stay in a relationship knowing your partner is tied to the destruction of your family? Could you walk away even though you love them? Or would you try to rewrite destiny entirely? I have a lot of thoughts, and I know you do too. So let's go through this together. Let's start with the first complication. Kim U Hui is the daughter of the man who destroyed Prince Lee-eun's family. This is not a small issue. This isn't your partner disliking your parents. This isn't a simple misunderstanding. This is deep political and personal devastation. Imagine falling in love with someone, building trust with them, dreaming of a future, only to find out their father is responsible for ruining your own family. How do you even begin to process that? Leon had no idea. U Hui had no idea he didn't know. And by the time the truth comes out, the relationship is already emotionally rooted. This is the kind of reveal that shakes everything. It doesn't just hurt, it rewrites the entire past. Which leads us into the second complication. Prince Lee-eun had been in a relationship with U Hui for a long time before discovering who her father really was. So the betrayal he feels is not because she deceived him, but because fate deceived them both. When the truth emerges, things immediately become strained. The air changes, the tone changes. Even if they still love each other, they can't go back to the innocence they once had. And I think that's one of the saddest things in stories like this. Love doesn't disappear when the truth comes out, but it becomes heavier. It becomes something you have to navigate, instead of something you can just enjoy. Now here's where things turn from tragic to even more chaotic. Complication number 3. Even though Prince Lee-eun could try to ignore who U Hui's father is, U Hui herself pulls him into something darker. She asks him to join a coup. Think about that. She wants him to rise up, take the throne from King Lee Gang, and reshape the power structure. Not for justice, not for the people, but so her father will approve of their relationship. This is where I want to pause for a moment and ask you, what do you think about this? Was U Hui being reckless? Was she trying to protect their love? Was she manipulated by her father's expectations? Because to me, this is one of those turning points where love stops being just emotion and becomes strategy. And when love becomes strategy, it almost always breaks. Now, the fourth complication ties directly into that. U Hui wants Lee-eun to seize the throne from King Lee Gang, believing that if he becomes king, her father will finally approve of their relationship. But this goes completely against everything Lee-eun stands for. He's loyal to King Lee Gang. He respects him. And most importantly, he doesn't want power obtained through bloodshed or betrayal. So now he's torn. On one side, the woman he loves, on the other, the values he's built his whole life upon. This is the kind of moral tension that destroys even the strongest relationships. And the tragedy continues with the fifth complication. Even if Leon did become king, even if somehow everything fell into place, even if he were willing to fight his moral compass for love, there's still a major problem. U Hui's father does not like Leon. He does not support the relationship. He opposes it strongly. So all the sacrifices U Hui wants Leon to make might not even matter. He might betray everything he believes in, only to still be unwelcome. And honestly, that's what makes this drama hit so hard. When you watch them, you can feel their desperation to make things work. but every single path they take leads to another wall. Which brings us to the sixth complication. Eventually, they're forced to break up. Not because the love is gone, not because they want to, but because both of them have things they want to protect. U Hui wants to protect her father and her position. Li-un wants to protect the kingdom and stay loyal to the king. They both want to protect each other too, but ironically, that's the one thing they can't do without hurting someone else. And you know, in K-dramas, we often see couples breaking up because of misunderstandings or immaturity, but here, they break up because staying together would burn everything around them. It's a mature pain. A pain that comes from choosing responsibility over desire. But that doesn't make it hurt any less. And finally, complication number 7. This one is really heartbreaking. Li-un ends up supporting King Li Gang's revenge against U Hui's father, but doing that means bringing harm to the man U Hui loves the most in her own family. So now he's torn between loyalty to his king and protection of the woman he loves. If he supports the revenge, he hurts her. If he doesn't, he betrays his king. No matter what he chooses, someone he cares about gets destroyed. And that emotional conflict creates this storm inside him. You can see it in the way he hesitates, the way he looks at her, the way silence sits heavy between them. So what does this all tell us? This is not a simple love story. This is not boy meets girl, boy loves girl, world supports them. This is two people standing on opposite sides of a battlefield created before they were even born. Their future is chained to their family's past. And when a relationship is built on land full of buried conflict, those landmines explode sooner or later. Now I want to share something personal here. Watching their story unfold, I kept asking myself whether love alone is enough. And I know we all grow up hearing that love conquers all, but dramas like Moon River remind us that love is powerful but not almighty. Love does not erase history. Love does not change political realities. Love does not undo the trauma that shaped your identity. Sometimes love is not the cure. It's the wound. And I think that's the tragedy of Li-un and U Hui. They love each other, but the world they live in was never built to let that love survive. But I also want to hear from you. Do you think U Hui was wrong for asking Li-un to join a coup? Do you think Li-un should forgive the sins of her father since it wasn't her fault? Do you think they made the right decision to break up? Or do you believe that if two people love each other deeply enough, they should fight even against destiny? These kinds of conversations make Moon River such a rich drama to discuss. It doesn't just entertain, it asks uncomfortable questions. It forces you to think about loyalty, power, responsibility, and what you're willing to sacrifice for love. And the fact that we're all sitting here debating it just proves how powerful the storytelling is. So share your thoughts in the comments. I want to know whose side you're on. Do you want them to find their way back to each other? Or do you think this love was never meant to last? Thank you for watching another deep dive here on SeoulScreen. I'll see you in the next video, where we break down more stories that tear us apart and heal us all at the same time.